All right, folks. It's been a while. Sorry about that. This is just going to be a quick little unscripted video on a few little catch-up things. I've had some really nice comments, people asking where the videos have been and stuff like that. Totally understandable. I've been away for a little while. Let's just get into it. I've got a few things. I'm going to go over just very quickly what I've been doing, where I've been at, and why there hasn't been many videos. And then just some things that will be coming for the channel, a few upgrades and some things to look forward to. And then one thing that is super exciting in my opinion, and something that I've been working on for a long time as well. I'll get back to that in the end. So first of all, where I've been at, the short answer to that is working. These videos, they don't pay me anything yet. I plan on getting monetized in the future. It's going to take some time, and I recognize that a lot of that's on me. I just need to make better videos and more consistent videos. Of course, the consistency is hard when you have bills to pay and all those things. And I can't prioritize every week making a video because I have to do my regular job. For those who don't know, I am a tattoo artist, and it takes up a lot of time, as it should. It should be something that I try to do well, and I do try to do that, so it takes up a lot of time. That's no complaint, though. That's something I enjoy a lot. Also, by the way, I'm not in my own house at the moment, and I hope the audio is okay. I got this new mic because I know that audio is very important for YouTube videos, so I am still upgrading the channel and trying to make things better here, although this room is very echoey, so let's hope this new mic pulls through with some good audio for you. Other than that, I did get to travel a little bit in the past few months. Unfortunately, I didn't photograph a lot, and I'll get to why that is in a moment. I got to travel through Italy, basically from the north down the west coast and into Rome, so sort of halfway down, and that was really lovely. I spent a few weeks there. I tried to have a holiday. I tried to take a bit of a break, which is very rare for me, and I was very happy to do that. It was a good thing. I was also pretty happy to get back to work by the end of it as well. Yeah, what else? Yeah, the basic things, family stuff. There's big Christmas, New Year's, and all that sort of thing. I don't want to bore you too much with this. Otherwise, it's been a weather issue a little bit, and how boring is this to complain about the weather in a YouTube video? But for those who don't know, again, I live in Finland most of the year, and it's cold. It's cold a lot, and it's not such a bad thing when it's snowing or there's a blizzard. For me, someone who likes to photograph out on the street, that can be very exciting. The change in weather, it can be really interesting, and I'm a firm believer that can get me some very interesting photos to share with you. In this case, and in this case of this winter, it's just been cold and gray. And when the lighting is that bad, and I mean this in the sense that there are no dynamics whatsoever in the lighting, it's just makes for really boring photography. And then I'm out there freezing. I want to be out on the street a lot of the time, 4, 5, 6 hours when I shoot street photography, because I sort of believe that it just takes time to soak into it. It's nice if you can do a bit of street photography on your way to work or something like that. But my brain never really fully switches into that sort of flow state if I'm just out there for an hour's walk. So I really like to be out there for a length of time. Somehow I've managed to live in this country for 12 odd years now without a proper winter jacket and without proper gloves. And so it makes it difficult to stay out there for long periods of time. It's one thing to go to the shop or go see a friend when things are that cold. But yeah, it really gets into your clothing at some point, and then you're just freezing. And if the lighting's not good and people are just staying indoors because it's cold, you're sort of out there freezing for nothing. But anyways, enough about the weather. Also, speaking of dynamic lighting, as I'm not in my own apartment right now, I don't have control of the light. The sun is kind of peeking through the clouds here and there, so you're going to see this lighting change. But like I said, this is a quick unscripted catch-up. Some more exciting stuff. What's going on? So one of the things that I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's born out of a few things. One of them is that, for those who might also be followers of this channel, that I'm pretty bored of street photography in Finland at this point, in large because I've done it for a long time, and also it just doesn't necessarily scratch the itch that I want to scratch when I shoot street photography. There's a particular style of street photography that I like. I like sort of high intensity stuff. I like to fill the frame. I like to be very close. And I feel like Helsinki, which is the largest city in Finland, so therefore probably the busiest city, is still very quiet, very slow moving. There's also a lot of regulation here, so life doesn't happen on the street as much as it does in other parts of the world or in bigger cities, for example. So what does that mean? It means that I'm pretty uninspired, I suppose, to shoot street photography a lot of the time. And, I want to look for, I want to look for more ways to do that. I don't think they're entirely exhausted. But one of the things that I need to do that is basically have funding, because funding equals time, right? I can take time away from my regular work to go spend more time in photography and dive deeper into something and produce something better for you, better to present. I think the work would be more interesting. I think I'd get more prints and books and galleries out of the work instead of just taking these kind of easy and pretty photos that I think anybody with half a brain can take and with 2 months of practice. So yeah, I'm looking to dive deeper, and when you can't do that, then it becomes uninspiring. And then the solution to that can be travel, finding new places to shoot, because then at least everything's very fresh for you. So one of my responses to that is, what do I want to shoot? And for a long time now, I've really been thinking that I would like to photograph some nature, specifically animals. I think it's one thing to go out and shoot landscape stuff, but I've always had this issue that I need something to be an additional challenge for it to be interesting to me. And I think, obviously tracking down animals or shooting them while they're moving and all these things poses like a whole new challenge. And so Finland's a very beautiful country. It's very simple in its beauty, but that's its feature of beauty, in my opinion. And there's some really cool animals here, animals that I'm not familiar with from my home country of New Zealand. There's some different stuff here. And one of the really nice things about it in Finland is a lot of it is very accessible. It's a very flat country, and there's just a lot of like open areas, lakes, and a very flat forest. So my point is I don't have to climb up mountains and go over rivers and valleys and all these kind of things to potentially see something. There are, of course, levels to that where there's more rare and more elusive things to find. But I also, in a funny way, kind of see it like street photography in the forest. And I'm kind of hoping that my experience with other genres of photography are going to sort of be able to bleed into that. I've noticed that a lot of nature photography looks very similar. Of course, there's varying levels of skill, and some of it, I'm sure, just comes down to circumstance about what you can get when you can get it, given the position you're in and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, the movement of animals and any given day is completely unpredictable. So I don't know exactly what I'm able to bring yet, which is fresh and unique, but I'm definitely going to try. I think it would be silly to even approach that side of photography and go in with a mindset that I'm just going to do the same as everybody else. So it's not an ego trip thing or anything like that. I'm hoping that I can give it a more unique perspective, or one that is not so common. I've got some ideas because I haven't started yet. I don't know if those ideas are going to work out. Some of them are in camera and on scene, and some of them are just going to be in the editing room. So I'm excited about that. I think there's a whole new world out there of photography for me. I think I should be able to produce some images which are hopefully interesting. I think they can be a touch more commercial. Street photography is a weird thing. I feel like the only people who like street photography are other street photographers. And there's a large, ethical debate and all that thing around street photography, which makes people just not even want to touch it, which I get to a degree, especially for those people who are not photographers or not art critics or historians or whatever it may be, that may not recognize the importance of street photography. And everybody, again, they're entitled to their opinion. But I think people a lot of the time miss the point of it. And I don't know why, but specifically in Finland, I feel like people don't relate to it at all. And I don't know. It's basically, in my experience, can be hard to garner any sort of viewership or opportunity out of it. and I don't really care so much for metrics and money and those kind of things, but opportunity is something I'm looking for. And to be honest, I don't even know what the opportunities would be within street photography. So there's that part of my brain too that says like, I don't know, how do I move up from here? There's no customer, there's no budget that could make me go and do something specific in street photography where it can, and other forms of photography. Other than maybe, someone reaching out and be like, hey, look, we can fly you somewhere. That's kind of the only thing. And don't worry, the street photography stuff is not going to go away. The next thing I'd like to mention is that I have pretty big travel plans for this year, and I will definitely be photographing. So that's going to be a big part of the year as well, as I actually get to go and photograph in some other countries and some other cities. And yeah, that's really cool. I'm super excited about that. I'll touch more on that as we go, but essentially I'm looking to be in other parts of Europe this year, and a good potential that I get to return to Asia this year too. So videos are definitely coming from there. I'm very excited to go and shoot there and get that fired back up. And yeah, again, spring is coming. It's warmer. Same issue has been a little bit with the nature stuff. I did go and purchase a new camera. I upgraded for what I've been using, and I got a telephoto lens, which is, these are not cheap things. I don't make a lot of money as a full-time artist. I've been living as a full-time artist now for 4 or 5 years. I don't make a lot of money, but the extra money that I do make basically goes back into things like that. So that's how I'm able to afford those, and keeping my costs very low and my expenses on things that other people would deem pleasurable. I have to cut those, and then I spend them on things like telephoto lenses. So yeah, it's a good thing. I think it's going to be really nice. Now, onto something that I think is pretty exciting. There's only a certain amount that I can really say here, and it's because I want a lot of the experience that you will have with this thing to be fresh. And it's also still a work in progress. So there are parts that I don't even know yet. Well, let me just say it. So last year, I spent the entire year filming a video of sorts, a movie, some sort of visual diary. And the whole purpose of that film was to just film. I've been wanting to do something now that would take a year in total as a whole project, and start to, see what that looks like. I've never done that before, and I wanted to force myself to commit to something longer than a day's work, or longer than, a small project. So I've done that. It's all filmed now, and it's in the process of being edited, and I'm really excited about it. I don't entirely know if it's even going to be enjoyable. Of course, I can enjoy it watching it back. There's a certain nostalgia for me. It's going to be in chronological order, but otherwise there's not much of a narrative in the footage. So then what I'm going over and doing is I'm adding things like my own narration and stuff that I wrote last year and recorded by voice last year into the film to tie it all together a little bit more and make it a bit more maybe enjoyable for the viewer. Now, that's kind of about all I'll say about that, other than I think I'm going to release it on this channel. And if not here, then I'll tell you where I released it on this channel. There's a small chance I create another channel for some other art projects that don't entirely fit into strictly photography, which is where this channel has really, gone towards, and it was intended to be towards. So let's see. Other than that, I think maybe that's kind of it. Maybe I don't know if I really forgot anything, but like I say, this is kind of unscripted, and I wanted to put something out there. Oh, more videos are coming. They will start again from this week. There'll be weekly releases again, finally. I'm sorry about the delay, but these things happen. And I'm hoping that as we move forward, the delays in between these spaces where I just have to go and work and make money so that I can come back to putting more time into YouTube, those spaces just get shorter and shorter until I'm able to do it full time. And that's definitely the goal for me. and just spend more time traveling and more time producing interesting content for the channel, and making upgrades like buying new gear, this microphone, new camera, telephoto lenses and stuff, so I can just produce more interesting content for the channel, and so that the viewer is entertained, and that everybody who, you know, subscribes or comments and all these things get, you know, their own form of value out of it, just entertainment or whatever. Otherwise, I mean, I've been making like short form content on TikTok a little bit too. It's the same name as I have here. If you want to go follow me there, it's some stuff will cross over. Some stuff is just unique to there because it's short form stuff. So I don't post everything on this channel that I make there. That's kind of the only place I've been keeping like relatively active up until now. So you can go back there and watch a bunch of stuff. I think there's some decent videos there if you want to go check those. Otherwise, the last thing, I think I'm going to upload some of my older videos, some of my older street photo videos with some commentary. So I'll put with commentary on them so you can see. I'll make it very clear that it is a re-upload with commentary. But I've been thinking also that my older videos that don't have any commentary on them, and I'm just walking around shooting street, that it could be really beneficial for me to kind of speak over them and let people know what I'm doing in those videos, because I really want the teaching aspect of this channel to still be there, and for people not only to be maybe a little bit entertained, but to potentially learn something, because I love the idea that anybody who invests their time into what I'm doing, they also get some returned value out of it, whether it be, like I said, whether it be entertainment, but ideally it would be, maybe learning something. They could have taken me months or years to learn, and I can share it to someone within a 10-minute video. So yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. That's about it. Thank you for watching this. Look forward to a video next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after, because I will be there. Finally, I'm back, and there's some exciting things happening. Thank you for watching. Till next week. Peace.